part of our Crypto Basics mini-series, today we're delving into the colorful world of NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what an NFT is, how they work, what makes them valuable, and much more.
All right, thank you. Garrick, so this is Nick Carey, the co-founder of blockchain.com, the founding commissioner for the Blockchain Commission of Sustainable Development, and the author of The Future is Decentralized. And if money can get decentralized, what about artwork, collectibles, and much more? And so today we're going to explore what the NFT sort of landscape is looking like and hopefully answer some basic questions. So I know it's a bit of an open one, but let's get started. Garrick, how would you define an NFT? What is an NFT?
Right. So I think the first thing to start with is the name NFT. Non-fungible token is what NFT stands for. And that word fungible, I think is really important to cover. I think many people kind of understand that an NFT, has the term token in it, is similar to other tokens like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But what really makes NFTs distinct and different from Bitcoin and Ethereum is this fungible aspect. And with Bitcoin or Ethereum or even cash in your pocket, the idea is that these are all fungible currencies or tokens, meaning that $1 is as good as the next dollar in your pocket, or €1 can be exchanged for another euro. They're completely fungible and interchangeable. And a non-fungible token, as the name implies, is something very different, where each token is unique and special and is not interchangeable with another NFT. These are distinct, unique tokens, and they provide a digital certificate of authenticity. You could think of an NFT as almost like a receipt that gives you the ownership claim on something like a digital piece of art or a blockchain game, in-game item, or some other digital asset. And we've seen just an incredible explosion in interest in these non-fungible tokens in the last 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, it's been amazing. You've had everyone from some of the most prominent musicians and artists to singers and more start to explore how to use NFTs to interact with their fans and much more. So let's dive in a little bit. How do NFTs work, and where can I find one?
Yes. So they're very similar in the sense that the NFT, the digital certificate of authenticity, lives on a blockchain network. Many of these live on top of Ethereum. That's been a very popular platform for the creation or minting of NFTs and the ownership of exchange of NFTs. But it's not the only platform where NFTs live. We've seen a proliferation of NFTs across a whole range of different blockchains, Solana and Algorand and others. And so I think one of the things when something new like NFTs comes along that's important to ask about, like, how these work and what's new, is what can I do with an NFT that I couldn't do before? And I want to talk briefly about, from the artist perspective, what's really powerful with NFTs. So one thing that's, I think, incredibly interesting is the ability for artists who create digital collectibles or in-game items or whatnot, is to embed in the code, the program itself, an ability for the artist to be compensated down the road as a piece of art, say, were to be transacted and exchanged in the secondary market. And I'll just give a kind of a traditional example of how artists have not really been able to do that. If you take like a Jeff Koons or another famous artist who early in their career, their works were not selling for the millions that they go for now. A lot of that art would be sold for very little initially, and then later the artist would develop a big reputation. Their works would become more valuable, and those early works could go for millions. But the original artist would never receive any compensation as that artwork appreciated in value. They'd lost their claim on that. And with NFTs, you can actually embed into the NFT a kind of a payment, an automated payment, where, say, a 10% royalty for each subsequent exchange of the piece of art comes back to the artist automatically to their digital wallet. That's a new capability, a new piece of functionality that really has not existed in art traditionally. and it's done in a trust minimized way. There's no going out and having to collect this money in the secondary market. It actually automatically gets deposited back to the digital artist. So the NFT is really a receipt, as we talked about, a record that lives on a blockchain to something an artist has created. That may not the JPEG or the image may not itself live on a blockchain. We're seeing some projects that are working on actually bringing those pieces of art, the collectible itself, to a blockchain, but the receipt, the token, lives on a blockchain and is secured by these networks.
Cool. So NFTs can basically be almost anything digital. So like a drawing or a schematic or a piece of music, or maybe a family recipe. And then I can encode that and store it on a blockchain and then have a digital representation of it in a wallet. And then in certain cases, if I sell that in a secondary transaction at some future point, the original artist can even be compensated for some of the downstream economic activity afterwards. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Let's dig in some more. I've been hearing some crazy valuations on some of these NFTs. Is it true that sometimes they've been sold for millions of dollars?
Yeah, that's been the case in the past 12 to 24 months. We've seen some NFTs going for tens of millions of dollars. Even there was a famous auction by Sotheby's of Beeple's 500 Days that went for, I think, over 60 million a little over a year ago. It actually is not the most expensive NFT ever sold. We saw Pax the Merge going for 91.8 million. But they're not all that expensive. Even though these ones get the headlines and attract a lot of attention, a lot of NFTs are going for very very little. And so you have the whole spectrum of prices out there. Some early NFTs, the crypto punks, are considered highly valued by collectors, given their innovative history in the space, and those can go for hundreds of thousands. I think there have been some that have been purchased for millions. Visa, the large credit card company, I think bought a CryptoPunk for about 150,000 last year. But you see a wide spectrum of pricing for NFTs. It's not all a place just for millionaires.
Okay, so in this like marketplace, you've got artists, you've got buyers, you've got collectors, and now you've got brands coming in as well as participants. So if I was sort of new, how would I go about buying or trying to sell an NFT? What's sort of a good first place maybe for me to begin?
Yes. Well, of course, we should mention that the blockchain.com NFT marketplace is coming soon. So, of course, we want our customers to come here to us. But popular sites for NFTs that are up and running currently, OpenSea is probably the most famous of these, and it is a site you can go to purchase and exchange NFTs. There's others out there, Rarible, Nifty, etc. And I think it's important, though, on this note, as people are thinking about getting into the NFT space, is to, with anything new in the crypto arena, you need to understand that there can be a lot of volatility, of course, on the pricing of something new. What is it worth? How can it be used? We're seeing NFTs now used in some ways similar to cryptocurrencies, deposited into DeFi protocols, and people borrowing and earning yield on these. But there's a lot of uncertainty around what is an NFT going to be worth in the months and years to come. So I would advise a note of caution for those who are new to NFTs as they think about jumping in.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about the NFT marketplace on blockchain.com. You'll be able to basically have a gallery within your wallet to show off all the different collectibles and NFTs that you have purchased. And we'll also be able to trade and sell them. So we're natively integrating that into the blockchain.com experience and hope to imminently make it available to all of our customers around the world. It's been a highly requested feature, and you can sign up to make sure you don't miss out on anything on blockchain.com right now, as we'll be sending updates about the release schedule for the upcoming NFT marketplace. So, beyond art, what are some other use cases for NFTs? What could you imagine maybe looking into the future a little bit, how businesses and brands may be able to use NFTs in unique ways?
Yeah. So one of the questions that we received the most interest in is around NFTs and gaming in the past year. I think as many people know, there's a huge marketplace out there for games, and people who are playing these games often will spend a lot of time building in-game assets, and those games are kind of trapped. They're landlocked, so to speak, inside the game. And so the idea that players could actually more directly own the in-game assets. You imagine a special weapon in a game, or an outfit or something. Um, a skin or something like this. That the idea that a gamer would have control of those assets and could actually take them maybe out of the game, or um, trade them more easily with others in the game. I think that's a really really interesting and exciting area for NFTs. We see artists, musicians looking at things like tickets and special access to events. Coachella, for example, NFTs. That's an area that's seems like a potentially really interesting opportunity, a way for people who go to a concert to take something digital with them after the event, showcase it on their wallet or their avatar or their profile or something like this. Maybe have some kind of reoccurring access to special exclusive things that an artist is offering, or I think applications we're already seeing developed. And then virtual real estate has been another big category. The metaverse, of course, is another theme that's captured a lot of attention and excitement. And we're seeing virtual real estate sold in these new digital worlds that are being created, Decentraland, et cetera. And that's a category that's already seen explosive growth. Music, we did a podcast on NFTs and music. I think there's a bit of a debate, as we discussed in the podcast, about whether NFTs will really take off in the music royalty space in terms of actual streaming and release of songs via NFTs. Have a listen to that podcast for more details on that. But that's another category that is receiving quite a bit of attention around NFTs.
So it's funny. I was thinking about this recently, where about a decade ago, social media kind of came on the scene. Twitter sort of came out of the fringes, and then major brands started looking at having a direct relationship and communication channel with their customers over this sort of new medium. And it seems sort of interesting and nearly almost predictable and obvious now that over the next decade, individuals, artists, musicians, brands, and businesses will also be able to use things like NFTs to create unique experiences, provide a new way to interact with their fans and customers, and create economic activity in communities over the internet with this interesting capability. There's a cool company I've learned of that is working with the Premier League in Europe, which is one of the most popular soccer franchises in the world, to basically mint NFTs of the most important moments that happen during games, and then dropping those moments into the wallet of a lucky fan at the end of every game. And so you'd have that maybe as a history of those things that you witnessed, and being able to brag about those to your friends. And then even if those moments were potentially shown again, or used in other forms of media, being compensated actually for that with the smart contracts that underpin all these things. So the applications are really quite extensive. We're very much in the early days, though, of the NFT marketplace shoring up. But I mean, what's your take on this? Are NFTs
Yeah.
mainstream now? I mean, everybody from the Marvel universe to Wayne Gretzky is getting in on this. Snoop Dogg has NFTs. Where are we in the adoption curve?
Yeah, no, you raised a couple of really interesting points there, and it's worth highlighting that one of the things that brought NFTs to the mainstream was sports and NBA Top Shots, and exactly that, being able to offer to fans of the NBA, the National Basketball Association, a chance to own a highlight clip from a particular game, or a dunk by LeBron James or something like this. And I think sports are, I mean, billions of people are watching football, or as we say in America, soccer, the NBA, et cetera. It's a really powerful way to kind of bring crypto to a much larger audience. and engage with fan bases who may not be, as passionate about the macroeconomic implications of Bitcoin, but are really excited about owning a digital collectible and see real value in the ease and utility that's offered through NFTs. And I'll just, I'm old enough to have been collecting comic books and baseball cards, and I compare that with NFTs and the fact that, boy, with something physical like baseball cards or comic books, I have to worry about the condition of the item, and it's really hard to get these valued. I've got to like take them into a shop and have them, examined and or sent off even, and then you have to worry about how are they transported? Am I going to get them back in the same condition I sent them in? With an NFT, you've got a liquid marketplace giving you a real-time valuation of something that's stored very conveniently in your digital wallet that doesn't degrade, and can also be, like I mentioned, even deposited into DeFi protocols and used as a financial asset and really easily transferred globally. I mean, to sell a comic book is not easy, especially if you want to try to send it around the world somewhere. So there's so many advantages, and it's so much easier to, I think, manage and value digital collectibles and NFTs than traditional collectibles. I mean, it's just an over 10x improvement. And it is, I think, one of the most exciting ways, I think, to also bring more people into the crypto ecosystem, who want to connect with their football team or an artist or someone they really are excited about supporting in some way. Incredible potential here.
Nice. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing all the innovation that happens in this space. At blockchain.com, we're very soon launching our very own NFT marketplace. You can sign up right now on blockchain.com to make sure you don't miss out on all the updates related to the release of that marketplace, which is coming very soon. We're looking forward to continuing to explore the NFT communities and marketplaces in general and all the opportunities here. We'll be focusing more content in this direction and look forward to sharing that with our community. So thanks for everyone for tuning in today, and Garrett for your thoughtful answers.
Thanks, Nick. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you're enjoying our podcast, please rate us and leave a review, as it really helps boost our visibility to more listeners. Also, if you have a topic you'd like to see us cover, please get in touch at the following email address: podcast@blockchain.com. Once again, that's podcast@blockchain.com.